we're here today for such an important cause, and you bring me all those memories. I can't think of a more fitting place for us to do something like this today. We try to legislate things, and that means we write laws, right? We try to do budgets. That means we fund things and programs, right? But there's other work that needs to be done. There is a crisis in our community, and we need our churches to support. We need our families to support. We can't legislate against hate. We can't legislate against mental illness. These things take love, they take support, they take families to be strong, they take our communities to stand up for each other, they take us sometimes to call people out that we love for things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. It calls for us to be supportive of our sisters and brothers that are going through something, and just be an ear sometime. Don't judge, just listen. What can I do to help you? What do you need today? How can I just help you get through today? So that's what we try to do, and you have always done. This being the first church in the state certified as an AIDS testing site. That was right. The goal. Yeah, come on. That was a bold step. And today we're going to take a bold step against domestic violence. We have to take it. Come on. It's a bold step. It seems so natural and normal almost now that we are responding to HIV. We're not doing all that we should. We're not doing what we should, and medicine is not doing all that it should. But at one moment, it was unheard of. It was something to be ashamed of. It was something to hide. Be afraid to tell anyone. Be afraid to touch that person. And I feel like domestic violence is like that now. With so many people suffering, we have to normalize the conversation. We have to, sadly, yes, listen, talk to your children. They see violence. They have one of these, they got a phone. Right. They see it. Stop it. They need to know it, and they need to know proper behavior. They don't need to be instructed by World Star and what's going on in the world. You have to tell them how to treat one another. Yeah. And you have to tell them how to be treated by other people, right? So these are the things that we have to do today. We pray for our sisters who are currently in this situation, and brothers. We pray for them that are in those situations today. We pray for the abusers. May God help them, that they don't hurt people. And hurt just delivers more hurt and more hurt and more hurt, and unaddressed hurt really torments people. So let us have this in our normal conversation. My staff, Anthony Gray, made some phone calls personally to a lot of people. And he shared with me every person he spoke with. And we were just telling people to come, give, and contribute. Almost every person he spoke with had a story and needed to unpack it. Wow. Right? Could you imagine how many calls we make and we're calling people? I had everybody tell a story. I have a story. How many people in this room have been or know someone who has been a victim of domestic violence? If your hand is not up, you're lucky. Do you see the number of people around you that know someone or have experienced it themselves? How many of you have been or have known someone who has been an abuser? Yeah. Multiply that number. How many people can an abuser touch? I can get out of this relationship and I go to the next one. And I get out of this relationship and I go to the next one. And I go to the next one and the next one, and it's not addressed. There's no healing that took place. So the hurt continues. So that's why it's going to take all of us. It's going to take the houses of worship to speak out against it. It's going to take all of us to talk to our families and friends. It's going to take all of us to change this behavior. And we will do that. And we're going to continue to push for legislation, because it shouldn't be so hard for women to get through the courts sometime. It shouldn't be so difficult, but things are. And we have to make it as easy as possible for people to get away and be safe and have housing and have the support that they need. How many people know that abuse is not just about being physically assaulted? It's about other things, right? How else can we get hurt?
Verbally, mentally.
Those words hurt, don't they? Mentally, yeah. Financially, look at that. Emotionally. There's so many ways to hurt each other. So we have to really, as a community, decide that we want this to stop in our world. And we need to make that difference. I always say to friends of young men and older men, listen, if you know your boy is doing that, you need to tell him that's not cool. We don't like you to do that. We don't want you doing that. If you are strong enough to tell that person, don't co-sign it. If you can't speak out, don't co-sign it. Don't support it. Okay? In families, oh, you know, he's just that way. He's not that way. It's not correct. We're not doing that. We're gonna stop it. So I thank you today for having this today. My heart goes out to every family, every individual. I give big applause to all the survivors in the room. How many survivors? Yes. My sister Stephanie from Warren and all the other agencies that are here today, we're happy that folks came out and supported and donated. You know, when you get up and run, you leave everything. You don't have nothing. You don't pack a bag. You know, when you finally get up out of that situation, you need to run. And the places that provide shelter and services, we just want to support them and give them something for these ladies when they get there, just to feel welcome.
We know that silence hides violence, and what we do know that domestic violence is a national health crisis. It's not a me issue, you issue, they issue, it is an us issue. And until we start to really recognize and understand that this is a silent killer and that it affects every area of our lives and our children and our churches and our schools. I'm just so honored to be in Pastor Kennedy Church today, because until we understand, really get the message about how many women that are in these churches that are suffering in silence, because it's not really being spoken about. So we got to speak about it, we got to denounce it, we have to really shine a light on it, and we have to understand that silence has violence, and we all really matter. And it's going to take a village to eradicate.
That's right. My name is Imani Jr.